No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you've come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white or gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Claremont Center for Spiritual Living, how are you this morning? Good morning. Where are all your friends? Is everybody like going on summer vacation already? Don't you realize it's cloudy outside? We should be home on the couch, right? So give yourselves a round of applause for not being home on the couch. Those of you online that are home on the couch, give yourselves a round of applause for tuning in. Because I don't know about you, but there's little magnets in my couch, and when I sit on it, it pulls my eyelids all the way down. It's just the most amazing thing. So if you're here and paying attention in the room or online, woohoo! We're glad you're here. Yeah, exactly. All right, so we have a lovely morning this morning. Our practitioner of the day is Patty Powers. If you get a chance, make sure you check out the wicked cool boots she's wearing. I mean, I know that's not the point of the practitioner, but when a practitioner dresses well, you should appreciate it, right? So what do practitioners do? Well, they pray. And what does that mean? It means that they remember the greater truth of life. For you, for themselves, for our congregation, for our community, for the world at large. Their job is to tune into that magnificence that is within and without all of us. And so do talk to them, do take advantage of the services that they offer. They give away prayer for free on Sundays, but you can also leave a written request for yourself or someone else. You can call in and leave a confidential message on our answering machine for the center. And you can also send us an email to prayer@claremontcsl.org. All kinds of ways to reach out, and they are always, always happy to talk with you. So in addition to talking, we also like to have singing and playing. So we have Jeff on the piano this morning. And our guest soloist, we welcome back Dennis Bryan and the lovely Leslie Jensen. We are so glad you're here. Dennis and I know each other from a couple of churches ago, and it's always a delight to have you here. So let's get started, let's get centered, and let's get going, shall we? So I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath. And if you're comfortable, wherever you are, just close your eyes and let the sound of the bowl take your breathing into your heart center. For there is that place within which knows only love, only peace, only great wisdom, only joy. And it is in this divine center that we remember the truth of life, that you and I and Spirit are one.
So settle into this oneness, this place where there is only peace. There are only round edges. Where everything is comfortable and soft. and in this place, we know that today is blessed, that each and every person who can hear this is blessed. We know that the message today holds something special for each of us. And we just slide into comfort and let it go. And with a grateful heart, we say together, and so it is. Good morning. So one thing she didn't bring up is that we match. And we never arrange it ahead of time, it just happens. My reading today is from How to Change Your Life by Ernest Holmes. It's a little bit of a ragged version. I should have brought a rubber band, but it'll be okay. This section is called Remove Blockages from Your Life. You know that there is a God, power, at the center of every person's being. A presence that knows neither lack, limitation, fear, sickness, disquiet, or imperfection. But because you are an individual, you can build a wall of negative thoughts around yourself. And this greater good is built of mental blocks, cemented together, mixed in the mortar of negative experience. And what this is basically a treatment for removing blockages. I know that there is a presence, a power, and a law within me, irresistibly drawing everything into my experience which makes life worthwhile. I know that friendship, love, and riches, health, harmony, are mine. I know that nothing but good can go out from me. Therefore, the good that I receive is but the completion of a circle, the fulfillment of my desire for all. I refuse to judge according to appearances, either mental or physical, no matter what the thought says or what the appearance seems to be. There is always a higher power. Upon this power, I rely with absolute confidence that it will never fail me. I repudiate all evil, cast out every fear that accompany it, and continuously exercise the dominion which rightfully belongs to me. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. Great to be back. I love this church. It's so beautiful. I love coming up this area, too. It's really nice. That's how I feel about this church in this area is the same sentiment of this song. So it's called In the Light of Summer. Summer sun settles in its rightful place. Ocean breeze whispers right across my face. And lying in the sand without a care in sight, basking in the splendor of the birds in flight. And it's all about the awe and wonder. Riding bikes and cruising through the city streets, passing all the faces smiling cheek to cheek, and flying kites in colors made of greens and blues, catching up with friends you thought you never knew. And it's all about the awe and wonder. it's all about the light of summer. When it's time to take the bus back home. Can you spare a dime? A dime is all you need to own. It's the simple things that living brings, and it's all about the awe and wonder in the light of summer. Walking up the shore to meet the rocks and waves, taking time to savor all that God has made, and matching all the outer good with what's inside. Grateful that this life is just a joyous ride, and it's all about the awe and wonder. And it's all about the light of summer. When it's time to take the message home, and it's all mine to have when I am grown. It's the simple things that Spirit brings, and it's all about the awe and wonder in the light of summer.
In the light of summer.
It's the awe and wonder
It's the awe and wonder.
in the light of summer.
In the light of summer.
In the light of summer.
In the light of summer. In the light of summer.
In the light of summer. Thank you, and this is my friend Leslie singing backup. Thank you.
How fun. Makes you want to go walk on the beach, doesn't it? Yes. All right, so we start a new month, which means we have a new theme. And our theme this month is the breath of life. For all kinds of reasons, but we'll start with the idea that we spend a lot of time on Sunday mornings talking about our spiritual nature, and the truth is we also live in a physical world. We have this physical self, and we have to make these physical decisions, and we have to navigate this earthly plane, and so our theme is all about the physical this month, the body of our affairs, the earthly existence as the body of spirit expressing. All kinds of things will come from this. And so that's what we begin with today. Excuse me. The title today is Swimsuit Season. And if you didn't get the e-blast, I'll just read you the little blurb because it makes me laugh, and I wrote it, so I thought I'd read it to you too. Summer, picnics, hiking, swimming pools and beaches, shorts, tank tops, and swimsuits. For some, especially in the Western culture, suiting up for summer activities is anything but fun. Our poor body image and critical eye make it difficult to relax without feeling self-conscious. All that spiritual work we do about seeing beyond appearances gets totally lost in the glare of the unforgiving sunlight. We can feel very unspiritual in our all too real physical form. So come on, take a deep breath. We're going to jump in the deep end. So that's what we're starting with today. And I have a very recent, as in yesterday, example of exactly how this works. My niece, who's in her mid-20s, had a baby shower. Now, she's like 5'0", petite, absolutely adorable. And all of her friends are 20-somethings that are like long and tall and willowy and wear cute hats and have cute little babies in perfect little strollers. And, you know, I had a few moments. Standing apart from everybody, looking at the beautiful little garden scene with the pretty flowers and the table settings and all that, going, what am I doing here? And how come that person that I used to be is not standing here right now? How did that happen? Well, here's the thing. When we compare, we often criticize. like pretty much always. Because the whole purpose of comparing is to see what's higher, lower, better, worse, fatter, thinner, cuter, less cute, old, not so old, right? That's why we compare. Our little ego mind is putting everything in order so we know how to navigate, which is a very useful tool. However, it is not always good for the self-esteem, because I know for me, when I compare myself to other people, most of the time I'm doing so and hearing the voice in my head that says, and I don't measure up, right? Because society's standards of what we should look like at any given age, or how we should dress, or what's acceptable or what's beautiful, is not the way most of us move in this physical form. It just isn't. And so it's really easy to fall into that, what Ernest Holmes called the race consciousness, that cultural think, that group think stuff. And it's not helpful at all, right? It does nothing for us. Now, faster, slower is helpful when you're on the freeway and you have to merge. That's a good thing to compare. But anything personal, anything to do with appearances, anything to do with skill level or personality, or whether someone is articulate or not, none of that does us any good, really. Not really. Now, if I look at this from a spiritual perspective, and I take just the very basic spiritual idea that we are spiritual beings having an experience in this human world, in this human body, even that only gets me so far. Okay, I don't feel like a Tupperware container with a spirit inside. Although the attractiveness issue might, fluctuate along those lines, but truly, there must be more to this physical nature that we are than just a vehicle, just a container for the spirit. Because that means that I have to wait until I die and I lose this body in order to be spiritual, in order to be free, in order to step into that unlimited potential and infinite life. And I don't know about you, but I'm not really good at waiting. It's not a productive place to be either, right? So what's a different way to look at this? What is the deeper way to understand the role of our physicality in this life that we know is also spiritual? So I offer you the words of Sue Morter. She wrote a book called The Energy Codes. And she says, often we think of our body as being the vehicle for experiencing a physical life. But while the body places us in 3 dimensions and enables us to be physical and interact with matter, it's also our tool for engaging with spiritual dimensions. In fact, it's the primary communication device of the soul, which uses it as an intermediary or translator to talk to the conscious mind. Anything that's happening in the physical body is happening on the energetic level first. Every body, every physical form, regardless of what kind of physicality it is a very complex system, a very unique and integrated process of thousands and thousands of things happening all the time that express life as form. Every body. So we all have this thing, this physical nature, and no matter what it looks like, so beyond appearances, there's all this stuff going on that is life expressing. It's body, mind, and spirit. They all have to work together. Ernest Holmes says that it's a divine and perfect reality when the body is understood as an instrument of spirit. So while some traditions will teach that the body is illusion, or the physical nature of man is to be, we're to separate ourselves from that in order to feel more spiritual, Holmes says no. It's our instrument for connecting with the divine. Now, all you have to do to realize that is to understand that when you respond to something, when you feel something, when something catches your attention or opens your heart, you do physically experience it, right? And if you've ever done any kind of body work, massage, therapy, anything like that, you know that there's a muscle in your shoulder that corresponds directly to your tension meter, right? You get tensed, your shoulder goes up, or your knee gives out, or your back goes up. Right? We're all interconnected. So we have an opportunity to connect with our mental and emotional selves through our physicality and also through our spirit. Sue Morter goes on to say that breathing is a major part of most meditation practices. When the breath is shallow and rapid, the primitive survival aspect of the brain takes over, causing the mind to function reactively and defensively. You all know those people, right? Their first reaction is always, "Meow." Or that you go to say hello and they come out with their fists up. Yeah, those are the people that are like panting, very shallow. I'm ready to kill you. Okay. That's not in the script. Here's the rest of it. This is different from when the breath is slow, deliberate, and deep in the lower lobes of the lungs, shifting it out of survival mode and into a more creative state. Conscious, intentional, deep breathing draws us away from the surface of our life and into its interior. The breath has a life-changing capacity in addition to its vital purposes. The breath is actually spirit in physical form. It is the vital life force. The word spirit, inspiration, it's all defined as the breath, to breathe in. And so the breath itself takes us into the physical body and also opens us to our divine nature. That's why meditation focuses on it. So here's science behind it, all right? This is not just some ooga booga because the Swami said so, all right? There's physiological studies that have been done on meditation. I'm sure you've heard of a lot of them, where it changes the brain. People are in a different state of mind, so to speak. They have different physiological responses, all right? But the main thing that breathing helps with, especially if you're doing a type of yoga breathing, or perhaps you were at the Wednesday night and we talked about sky breath, sky breathing, there's a certain way of breathing which will actually stimulate the vagus nerve. Now, what's the vagus nerve? Well, the vagus nerve goes from the brainstem down through the head and neck and into all of your organs. And it's a little two-way communication highway. All of the senses of your body go up to the brain through the vagus nerve, and the brain talks to all of the systems of your body through the vagus nerve. So here's what happens. Something is not quite right. You don't know what it is, but you've got this gut feeling, right? Or you're in a situation that is very moving and you're not quite sure what's going on or why you're reacting, but you've got this knot in your throat. That's the vagus nerve at work. That's the bodily sensations being translated or talked to the mind that we have. So there is a communication that's constantly going on that's giving us information. In other words, instead of looking at our bodies, we're called to listen to them, to let the physical self inform us, to learn from what our bodies tell us, because not only do they respond to physical activity or action or pain, our bodies are also talking to us all the time about how we're feeling. That's an indication of how we're thinking. Because you know what? When we're at odds with our physical self, when I'm doing that whole crazy comparison thing where I'm coming up short, What I'm in conflict with isn't my body, it's my thinking, right? It's what I'm saying to myself. All right, well, I've been coming here long enough. I know I can change my thinking and change my life, right? So if I'm willing to listen to the body from a place of understanding and trusting its wisdom, then I'm going to be more integrated. I'm going to feel less fragmented. I will be stepping into my wholeness of body, mind, and spirit rather than fighting with one or the other. Now, the other thing that happens with the vagus nerve is that when it's active, you're not as stressed. So just like we heard earlier, when you do that short, shallow breathing, what you're doing is you're activating the sympathetic nerve system, which is your lizard brain. Okay, the lizard brain says freeze, run away, or fight. So that's where all that defensiveness comes from and the raised fists and all that. So if you want to get past that, if that's not how you want to be in the world, that deep breathing activates the vagus nerve, which bypasses the lizard brain and goes to the frontal cortex, the prefrontal cortex, which is where we make all of our good decisions. It's the place that we're able to observe from, right? Instead of getting caught up in the swirl, we can actually take a step back and see what's going on, have a little perspective, and choose our response. You can't do that from the back of your brain, okay? So the breathing is actually spirit expressing, because when we breathe deeply, we're allowing ourselves to relax and digest instead of fight, flight, or freeze. Now, digest is physical as well as metaphorical, right? That ability to step back and observe and perceive, that's a form of understanding our world. That's a form of digesting the information that we have. But it's also physical. It also means that our digestive system is better. There's all kinds of studies that say if your digestive system is messed up, you are cranky, you are sad, you can't think. How many of you feel better and can think more clearly after you eat? And if you don't think so, just ask me. I'll tell you what you're like when you don't eat. Yeah. So we have this opportunity to massage the vagus nerve, to tone it up. Just like any muscle, we can actually activate that nerve at a higher level. And there's all kinds of things that will do it. The deep breathing, of course, is one of them. And I want to teach you one. This is in yoga, it's called the Ujjayi breath, or in sky breath, it's called the victory breath. And here's how it goes. When you take a breath and you kind of close your throat off, kind of like almost like you're snoring, only not quite so loud. I mean, this is really loud. Okay, that's not what we're going for. We're going for the silent version of that. It's kind of a Darth Vader breath. Like that. Now, I'm exaggerating so you can hear it, because normally you do it with your mouth closed. But you're breathing in and you're aware of the back of your throat. So sometimes it helps to put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. And you want to just breathe in long and slow. Feel the back of your throat as you breathe in and breathe out through your nose. Want to try it? Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. In. Kind of feel it? It takes a little practice. You're breathing all the way down, like you put your hand on your belly and take a deep breath so your hand moves. And then watch it go out. Right? So up here is where we normally breathe. If you actually move your belly, you're going to take air all the way into the bottom of your lungs. That's what you want. So if you can do that and fill your throat, you got it. All right? Now, let me tell you another way you can do it. You can hum. You can sing. You can gag, not recommended. You can gargle. What are you doing? You're activating your throat muscles because your vagus nerve goes down both sides of your neck. And that is what moves your neurological system into parasympathetic, meaning relax and digest. It's why when you take a deep breath before something difficult, you calm down. It's why when someone is panicking in front of you, you tell them to breathe. Or maybe take a drink of water. right? Water's not the issue, but the swallowing is. You see? So another way that you can massage that nerve or activate that is by using your voice in some way. And so we're going to do that here because I can. And because you're willing, right? Because it's fun. So we're going to do an om. You've all heard the om before, right? It starts out as an ah. It goes from ah, om, like that. All right? Big, long sound. So close your eyes so you really feel it. And you're going to take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, we're all going to say om together. Those of you at home, I'm listening. Ready? Inhale. Again. One more. Just sit for a moment and feel that. When you open your eyes, just notice what's different. The sound itself and the energy in the room. Right? I was up here bouncing on my toes a second ago, but not now. Because that is a settling, centering experience. Now, sometimes if we're singing with each other, we get really self-conscious about how we sing, right? But chanting, you don't have to worry about that. Now, I don't know that you can om in the middle of Ralph's, okay? That might be a little obvious. But if you do that deep breathing where you kind of catch your throat a little bit and take a couple deep breaths while you're waiting in line at the grocery store, that's something you can do for yourself anytime, anywhere. You're in your car and the traffic is bad, crank up the music. Sing along. Nobody's listening. And even if they were, who cares? Because using your voice will calm you down. And I am talking about using your voice to sing or hum or chant, not to yell at the other drivers. That is not calming. That would be the lizard brain having its way with you. All right? So one of the things that happens when we activate that energy is that we feel it physically, right? So in those moments after the sound faded, for me, there's a little bit of a tingly vibration, right? It's like I can almost feel the energy moving through my body. For you, you may have noticed that your shoulders went down or your stomach relaxed because you took that deep breath. Our body is like an antenna, right? We tune into things. We tune into toxic people, toxic news, toxic opinions all the time. What if we consciously chose to tune into a healing sound, a deeper breath, the breeze on our face, like the song said? We have the ability to tune in to the station of our choice. Right? We can always adjust the dial. And what that does is it puts us harmoniously in the world. Right? It allows us to align from within and without. Because again, if I'm feeling more calm, I'm going to think more clearly. I'm going to have a better idea. I'm going to figure out another way forward. I'm going to be observing my environment and see possibilities that I didn't see when I was all red in the face from being angry, right? So we want to use this physical antenna that we have to tune in to ourselves and how we're thinking and feeling, to tune in with each other. You know those people you walk up to and you're just instant friends with? That's the antennas going, "Ooh, this is a good one." We want to be able to tune in with spirit, with our sense of the divine, with our remembering that there's something greater than we are, and it is good, and it is ours to use. We want to be able to tune in with the flow of life, to do those things which help us to forget time and space because we're creating, or we're fully present, or we are perfectly calm. Those are all sensations of this physical body telling us how we're thinking, how we're feeling, and how spirit is moving in us. So listen to this body intelligence. It lets us interpret the world from a broader perspective beyond the lizard, right? It helps us to interpret our emotional landscape. You know, the tensions that you feel, or the fear that you experience, or the anxiety that rises up in you, you feel all of that in your body. Listen to that. It will tell you, it will guide you on what to do next, where to calm down, how to reach out for help. That body intelligence helps us to interpret our own divine nature. If I am meditating, if I'm doing deep breathing, there's a point at which I'm not thinking about I'm meditating. I'm simply in that calm space. So we have this amazing instrument that is here for us. Ernest Holmes says that the body is both mental and spiritual. Body is not to be denied. We are to affirm that body is a combination of spiritual ideas harmoniously expressing life. So sing and hum and gargle and breathe before a big decision, before a difficult conversation, to elevate your mood, to turn on that parasympathetic nervous system so that you might truly relax. And then go ahead, dive in. The water's fine. And you look, you are fabulous. Just fabulous. Namaste. So I invite you to close your eyes. Let's take a moment in prayer. Allowing ourselves to breathe into that heart center within us. That place of divine intelligence which is always available to each of us. Breathing in and breathing out and feeling the life energy that is the very truth of our nature. In us, as us, through us. And as I am one with this energy of life, so is everyone else. That each breath is a connection to the source of all. And as we breathe together, sharing this life. More than enough to go around. Trusting the inhale and the exhale and the next inhale and exhale will be there to serve and sustain and fulfill us. And so I give great thanks for this physical self that I am, with all of my opinions about it and all of its quirky little flaws that I think should be different. I bless this body, this amazing instrument of communication. I open and allow myself to appreciate all that I know through and because of this physical form. All that I learn from it, with it, by it. I give great thanks for all that I am able to do, and I give the greatest thanks for knowing all that I am with and without this physical form. For I am a soul experiencing life on this plane. That source expresses through and as me as it does everyone I meet. And this power that we are, this life energy that we are, lifts us, sustains us, nourishes us transforms us into that greater yet to be. And all because we breathe. All because the breath of life carries this form, allowing us to show up in this world. I let this truth unfold as my life in ever greater ways, staying open to its message, staying willing to take the next step. Open to reaching out a hand to help, open to receiving that assistance from someone else. This shared life is a magnificent thing, and I am that, and so is everyone. And I release this word into the consciousness of the one, into the wholeness that God is, body, mind, and spirit, all working together in, through, as, and for me, for everyone, and unfolding perfectly in time and space. It is good, it is all God, and so it is. So I invite you to say our affirmation. I will read a sentence and invite you to repeat after me, which allows our online folks to participate as well. My body is the house of the divine on earth. Spirit within me is the light of the world. And so it is. All right, let's have a little more music.
So I don't have to suck in my gut, right?
No,
Wearing
nope,
this
not
tight
on my
shirt that
account.
I chose to wear this morning was not a good idea. You're saying it's okay, just let it go, right?
Let it go. Let it go.
There's something missing when your life dictates that you get your validation from someone else's mistakes. 'Cause you can't let another tell you who you are, and you can't hold yourself back from your rising star. 'Cause it's time. It's time. Oh, you betcha it's time to ask yourself what you're worth. Ask yourself what you're worth, baby. Ask yourself what you're worth. But tell yourself you deserve it all. You deserve it all. Doesn't mean you put them down. It doesn't mean you blame. It doesn't mean you play that game. And everybody's got their own past tapes. Be yourself and all in the world will be right. Trust that you're a unique child of divine light. Because it's time. It's time. Oh, you betcha it's time to ask yourself what you're worth. Ask yourself what you're worth, baby. Ask yourself what you're worth. But tell yourself you deserve it all. So much more ahead of you, but not with someone's point of view. So much truth in your own voice, and you're the only one to make that choice. 'cause you can't let another tell you who you are. And you can't ever let the past define your shining star. Because it's time. Oh, and it's time. Oh, you betcha it's time to ask yourself what you're worth. Ask yourself what you're worth, baby. Ask yourself what you're worth. But tell yourself you deserve it all. Oh, ask yourself, yes, you're worth. And oh, ask yourself what you're worth. Everybody, what you're worth. Thank you. Thank you.
I think we should just do a concert and call it good, right? Thank you so much. Just so much fun, and perfect message today. All right, so what's your worth? Well, what's your community worth to you? You tell me it's worth a lot because you contribute all the time. So thank you for that. The baskets are in the back of the room on your way out, and those of you online can donate via our website or our e-blast or send in a check. Those funds go to creating the space that we use every week to build this sense of community and love. Now, in all honesty, we could meet across the street in the park and be a spiritual community. That's true. But isn't it lovely to have this? Isn't it lovely to have the space to offer to our greater community to be a vote center for the Claremont area? This is what we do every year where our primary's going on. Everybody's here this weekend. You know, I really like seeing all those cars in the parking lot, don't you? Yes. And okay, they're just going to the hall, but the truth is that we have this space means that we have the mental equivalent of filling it up with wonderful things. And if we are truly a spiritual center in this community, then part of what we do is open this space up to the greater community. So we're here, we enjoy it, we support it, we create it, and we're grateful. And we're also grateful that we are able to offer it to others. So thank you all for all that you do. And say with me our prosperity affirmation. Let's anchor that. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now. All righty. We have some invitations. You get that they're called invitations and not announcements, right? That I'm not telling you what to do, although I might be tempted sometimes. I really am inviting you to participate in a bunch of different ways with your center. So one of the ways that you will enjoy participating, I promise you, is to come this Wednesday night to our Wednesday night service. Now, I know a lot of you don't come on Wednesday nights, but this is a special one. So our newly returned practitioner, Pat Fromer, will be doing the crystal bowls on Wednesday night at 7 for our meditative service this week. So if you come at 6:15, Nisa leads an actual meditation at 6:30 until 7. And at 7, we move into the chapel, and there will be 9 gorgeous bowls all singing to us for our service. So I invite you to come. Do yourself a favor. There is something about allowing the sound to wash over you that puts you in a different place, a higher place, a more centered place, a fulfilled place. So I extend that invitation to you. I also invite you to continue bringing in food for our donation box. We're dividing our pantry support between Hope Partners and the Foothill Family Shelter. As inflation goes up, people are less able to afford the things that they need. There's a lot more food insecurity in our community. And the problem is that it also means that people who normally donate tend to donate less because they're experiencing it themselves, right? So what I encourage you to do is keep that in mind. You go to the grocery store, instead of getting 2 cans of corn, get 4, right? Instead of just 1 box of rice-a-roni, I know how you live, get 2 or 3. and bring those in. And we'll make sure that they get to the families who really need them, because we can. And because that is part of what it means to be human, is that we support each other in this particular way. And I think that's all I have. Anybody, anything else? You may have noticed when you came in, there's been a little landscape change, yes? Yeah. Thank you, Emily. All right, so our volunteers got it started, and then we had a tree trimming company come in and finish and do the rest of the property, thanks to a generous donation. Now, I do realize that there are a couple things that are trimmed beyond my comfort level. I'm not quite sure what the idea was on the front. I'm sure it'll grow back. I'm sure it'll be fine. But overall, this is step one of our campus uplift. All right, we weren't here for 2 years. We've done basic maintenance for a while. We've got water restrictions coming up, so we're looking for ways to save water, to still beautify the campus, and to keep it fresh for those going by who might say, oh, I wonder what they do at that place, and come on in. All right? So thank you to all of you who made that happen, and I just know it's going to come back even more gorgeous than it was before. So wonderful. Anything else? All right. Let's rock out to Eddie. Just a reminder, keep those masks on.
Take a look at the person next to you and say, God loves you and I love you too. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me.